What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Nathan. In today's episode, the Pirates might be off to a really solid 9-6 start that has them in first place early in the NL Central and in a playoff spot. But there are some early concerns to the season that I do want to discuss today, and I think I have them set on three, with two of them being the most concerning, and I think a lot of fans have seen these as the most concerning. So let's just get into this. I don't think the first one is a shock. It is too many walks. And it's not just the bullpen. I'm going to go through here really quick, and it's interesting to point out. And I hate doing this, because it is early, as the 9-6 Pirates right now are tied for 5th place with the most walks in the major leagues, with 78. It goes 96 for the Houston Astros. They have the most. The LA Angels with 86. The Cincinnati Reds and Sacramento, now Athletics, have 78. And the Pirates are tied with the Washington Nationals for 73. So the Pirates are actually tied for second in the National League in walks because the top three are American League teams. And the Reds would have first in the National League. Let's go pitcher by pitcher, though. The only starter I kind of want to list in this is Bubba Chandler. He, of course, has started 3 games. He's been interesting to watch, to say the least. Top prospect, but he is a little wild. He has 12 walks in 14 innings. His first basic start of the year, the one against the Reds, he had like the 6 no-hit innings, 6 strikeouts, but like 6 walks. He is very wild, and that is kind of like the Bubba Chandler experience I think we're going to be getting this year. I hope it changes, but he's not the most concerning to me when it comes to the walks. I mean, it is concerning whenever these pitchers can't go deep into games, but that's a Don Kelly question, why he only lets pitchers go 75. But here's the thing with the bullpen. Hunter Barco has been used 4 times. He's pitched 7 innings, 7 walks. That is a walk per inning. Yohan Ramirez has pitched 7 times. That is 6 walks for him. You go down the list. Let's see here. Justin Lawrence. He has had a very bad start to the year. In 9 innings of work, 8 games, he's walked 5. But he has also struck out 12. But in the 7 1/3, he has a 9.82 ERA. He's been tanking these last few games. It has been a rough start to the season for Justin Lawrence. Isaac Mattson, 9 games, 5 walks. Mason Montgomery, 7 games, 5 walks. Gregory Soto, 9 games, 5 walks in 8.2 innings. Dennis Santana in 8 innings, 4 walks. Jose Urquidy in 5 1/3, 2 walks. I'm not really happy about all these walks, because these walks go into our next concern, which we will talk about in a second. But this bullpen has to be better with walking these guys. Right now, here are your bullpen ERAs. Hunter Barco, 6.43. He, of course, had that game against the Mets. They kept him in. But he somehow got out of it again, kind of, against the Cubbies. But still, it's the walks that are giving him issues. Like 7 innings, 7 walks, a walk per inning. His whip right now is 2.14. That cannot be a thing. Mason Montgomery, a 2.05. That is walks to hits to innings pitched, by the way. A 1.91 for Justin Lawrence. 1.73 for Isaac Mattson. You can't be allowing almost 2 runners an inning. That's kind of where this bullpen is right now, and it's really concerning. Greg Soto, Dennis Santana, they have a .81 and a .75. Not as concerned there. They've both looked solid, besides maybe one outing for each of them. Greg Soto has only allowed the 1 run this year, and it was that home run on opening day to Gunnar Henderson. Dennis Santana has not allowed an earned run. Actually, he has allowed an earned run, but still, he has also looked really solid. But the thing is, here's your other bullpen ERAs. Hunter Barco, 6.43. Yohan Ramirez has looked really good with a 1.86, but he's also looked shaky at times. But that's what I think you're getting out of Yohan Ramirez. Justin Lawrence, that 9.82. Isaac Mattson, a 2.08, solid. Mason Montgomery, a 7.11. Greg Soto, 1.04. Dennis Santana, 1.13. Jose Urquidy, 3.38. I'm not really as concerned in Jose Urquidy because he's kind of that mop-up guy. You're only going to see him when the bullpen is taxed, which against the Cubs, it was taxed. Because here's the thing with Don Kelly that's kind of frustrating me from the fan perspective and as someone who just watches the team a lot. He's pulling these guys a lot early. I know it's early, but pulling like a guy like Mitch Keller out of the game against the San Diego Padres, who he was shoving against a couple days ago, just for the bullpen to blow it immediately at 75 pitches. Mitch Keller's supposed to be your workhorse, get you these innings. He's been a guy who's been very durable and can go deep into games. But taking him out as a 75 pitch limit is like, man, what are we doing? I know it's April, and maybe they're worried about that second half collapse, but you cannot just tax this bullpen immediately for taking out these starters and giving them 5 innings or 6 innings of work. If each starter's only going 5 innings, that's where the frustrations kind of go to with me, because your bullpen then is getting wasted in the first 1 or 2 games of a series. We saw it in Game 3 against the Cubs yesterday, at the time of me recording this, yesterday, because you used the majority of this bullpen. You had Gregory Soto maybe good to go. He only threw 1 pitch the day before, but it's like, we have to get Jose Urquidy in. We got to get Hunter Barco in because everyone else has been used. It's really weird what we've seen out of Don Kelly's bullpen management. They're 9-6. They found a way, but this is a concern that I had pre-season during spring training. The bullpen is kind of and it's interesting. People be like, what about bring up these guys from Bajois, Antoine Kelly, Wilbur Dotel, all these guys. They're struggling right now in the minor leagues. Go look at their stats. Brandon Bajois is not having a great start to the season. Wilbur Dotel, Anton Kelly, not having great starts to the season. It's not been a great start for the minor leagues in general. Last time I checked, the Curve were 0-8. The Indians were 3-12. The Greensboro Grasshoppers are the only team with a winning record in the minor leagues, and that would be your high A affiliate of the Pirates. So, that is concern number 1. To keep it short and simple here, concern number 2 is self-explanatory as well. The defensive concerns. And it kind of spikes with 2 people, being O'Neal Cruz, which we've seen the concerns before. We saw it opening day, and we've seen it at times during the regular season where his fielding run value right now on Savant is at a 6, a -2 rating for him. His range, they don't like his range, 5th percentile, but his arm value is 72nd percentile. I'm not as concerned in O'Neal Cruz, though, than the next guy we're going to discuss really briefly. Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds was solid a couple years ago in center field, but then when he got moved to left, he was one of the worst graded left fielders in baseball. Then he got moved to right last year, one of the worst graded right fielders in baseball. He's now back in left field because he brought in Ryan O'Hearn, who's been a very happy surprise in the outfield. Let me look up his Savant page really quick, because I just want to show, this is kind of what we're getting out of Ryan O'Hearn here. But the thing with Brian Reynolds, as my computer loads here, that kind of worries me, I would say, is the overall bad range he has, the arm he has. And we saw it a lot this series against the Cubs. He had the flop in the outfield. We saw it against the Padres too. But the play that just boils me the most for a guy that's paid as much as he is to be a captain of this team, especially on the offensive side, is the throw he made in Game 3 against the Cubs, where it was not good. It allowed a run to score. And it's funny, everyone will go pile on O'Neal Cruz when he makes a mistake, but then when I go on social media, it's nothing but crickets for Brian Reynolds. And it's funny, on Savant right now, we brought up Cruz as the 6th percentile in fielding run value, -2. Brian Reynolds right now also has a -2. He's in the 8th percentile in fielding run value. His range, worse, 12th percentile, and his arm value, way worse, 41st percentile. He has to be better in the outfield. He really does. Or he is set to be a DH, but they've locked DH to Marcell Ozuna. And I was fine with the Ozuna signing at the time, but it looks concerning now with his bat, and we'll get into that next. But it also concerns me whenever, my concern was, where is this defense is going to stink. And whenever you're shoehorning your one guy to a DH like Ozuna, you can't really play Reynolds there every day, where he would better suit himself if he was the everyday DH. Now over to Ryan O'Hearn really quick. I was concerned about his fielding run value this year. He's at a 45th percentile out of 0, but still way better than Cruz and Reynolds. And he was a guy people were like, oh, he's not really the greatest outfielder. I was one of those. He's made a couple sliding catches. He's made some solid plays. There's been some where some throws are kind of iffy, but it is what it is. His range right now, 83rd percentile, but his arm value, the 2nd percentile. It's a very vast difference. But that's kind of the defensive concerns. It's mainly the outfield. But that's kind of bleeds in with the walks. If you're walking all these guys, like we saw in that game against the Cubs in Game 3, where they could have swept them in the Justin Lawrence inning. Lawrence allowed both those runs. But the second run came in to score because of a bad throw by Bryan Reynolds. It was because of that throw another guy was able to come in. And then, of course, he had the Brandon Lau throw over home plate. He had that 2-home run game against the Cubs. There was the funny play where it was the infield fly roll, but he fell down and a runner came in from third. This defense is being tested really early. They're 9-6. I'm not one to complain about that. But you have to get these things situated because this is the sloppiness we've seen of the Pirates in the past. It's been a fun start at 9-6, but it needs to be better in these aspects. The third thing I'm not really as concerned about as the walks and the defense, let's discuss really quick the slow starts here. And I want to talk about this just because it's kind of one guy, and that would be Marcell Ozuna. He's one of the worst hitters in the league right now. He has 3 hits in 43 official at-bats in 11 total games. He's been benched multiple times. He basically missed an entire series against the Padres. He's walked 5 times, struck out 12 times. He is hitting .070 with a 167 OBP and .070 slugging and an OPS of 237. One of the worst qualified hitters in the league right now. I know another guy like Josh Naylor is also having a really bad start to the year, but Ozuna, he's 35. I was fine with the signing at the time, but right now it's like, this isn't looking well. And especially for $12 million for a guy just to play DH, it is early. He's only played 11 games. But you need better out of that. You need better ABs. His swing looks slow at times, and that's kind of worrisome. I want to look at his Savant page also really quick, because he is another guy that people are like, oh, swing speed is slowing down. It's a lot of blue, and blue is bad. Batting run value of a 1. His base running is a 53rd percentile. He's somehow doing that well. XWOBA, a 4th percentile. X-batting average, a 2nd percentile. His expected batting average is 152. Cool. His whiff rate, 48th percentile. K rate, 35th percentile. He's walking at a average rate, but besides that, his bat speed, 72nd percentile. That is his best thing, but it's like at times where his strikeouts look ugly. And here's the thing with Ozuna. He had this really slow start a couple years ago. He ended up hitting 40 home runs. It was a start worse than this, or this is a little bit worse than that. But you need better out of a $12 million bat right now. And this is where I'm happy that the bats they brought in are picking up his weight. Ryan O'Hearn has looked really good. He's hitting 333. Brandon Lau had a little bit of a slump once the homestand started on opening day, but still, 245 with a 965 OPS. O'Neal Cruz, man. He's the most hated guy on this team for a majority of the fan base because of the fielding. But here's the thing. I've been a supporter of him forever. He's hitting 339 with an OPS over 1,000. 5 home runs, 13 ribbies, leads the team in both those categories. Tied for home runs, but still. Nick York is another guy that is picking up weight. He's hitting 344 in 11 games with a 901 OPS. He has been a very pleasant surprise. Will that sustain? Probably not. But still, it has been a very pleasant surprise that I'm really happy about with him. Bryan Reynolds off to a kind of slow start here. He's struck out 18 times, but he has a 774 OPS, 259 average. Nick Gonzalez is a polarizing player on social media. He has that 267 average, but the OPS of 646. Then you kind of have the drop-off. Henry Davis, slow start. He's batting 194 with a 576 OPS. Spencer Horwitz, as well as having a slow start. He's hitting 216 with a 576 OPS. Jared Triolo is going to be out for a while, but he was hitting 217 with a 569 at the time. Jake Mangum, 207 with a 499 OPS. Joey Bart, he's played 7 games. He's batting 105 with a 295 OPS. He's had 19 ABs. He struck out 10 times. That is Joey Bart, by the way. Yikes. Then we already talked Marcell Ozuna. Not going to bring up Billy Cook. He's had 3 at-bats. He's batting 0. But Connor Griffin's another one, kind of starting out slow. He's only had 29 official ABs. He's batting 138 with a 407 OPS. The strikeouts kind of concern me here. He's struck out 10 times in those 29 ABs, so 10 times in 9 games officially. He does have the 4 RBIs, which is cool. But still waiting for him to... He had that double in his first at-bat, but it seems like fastballs especially, he's having to adjust to it. And this was something like I was thinking of whenever he was called up. This is why I was like kind of content with him starting in AAA. We saw it in spring training also. Like he was hitting those home runs down in Bradenton, down in Florida. but he was striking out a good bit because he's still getting adjusted to the velocity of the big leagues. But here's the thing with Connor Griffin. He was raking at the time when he got called up in AAA. He needs to get better, and he's not going to get better just raking in AAA. He needs to face better pitching, and that better pitching is in the major leagues. So it could be a slow adjustment for Connor Griffin, but that's kind of my final concern, the slow starts. It's mainly Marcell Ozuna. I guess you could kind of throw in Spencer Horwitz because he's kind of that supposed to be an everyday option at first base. Henry Davis, Joey Bart look like it's the catching. It's a black hole right now. Henry Davis looks better, a lot better than Joey Bart defensively too. He's struck out 8 times in 31 ABs. It's Joey Bart though, striking out 10 times in 19 at bats. It's like, ooh. I have a hot take here. I don't know if Joey Bart is going to last the whole year on the team. I think he might be a DFA candidate or a trade bait candidate at some point just to get him off that cheap contract he is on. Maybe call up Endy, who is also kind of in AAA. Maybe they just roll with Endy and Hank as a catcher because Henry Davis clearly is that guy that the pitching staff loves. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. They're 9-6. It's been a solid start, but there are these early season concerns. It's the walks in the bullpen, it's the defense, and it's these slow starts, especially Marcell Ozuna's start, I would say. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. My name is Nathan. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to comment, subscribe to the channel down below, leave a like, and as always, let's go Bucks, and I'll see you next time.